What's up, guys? This is Ricky from Team Project Attraction, here to give you elite dating and lifestyle training advice. And I'm here with my friend David Kocher. Say what's up, David.
What up? What up? What up?
Dude, this guy is the founder of the #1 pickup community on Facebook called May the Frame Be With You. And it's honestly one of my favorites because they have really good discussions. They have other awesome dating coaches on there. And David is a fucking champ about running it and making sure the community stays like within the context of guys helping each other, empowering each other, become better with women, and just be better badasses in general. And I was even telling him before, I just started my own Project Attraction, but I was like, dude, I need some pointers because this guy is the man to go to for the Facebook communities. So how you doing, David?
Doing absolutely wonderful, man. I just started. I moved back to Los Angeles. I got a new job. I got a radio host. I haven't publicly announced it, so I got a job. It's in Hollywood. I start on Monday. Perfect. So I'm going to be doing some more stuff with that. So
awesome. So a few of the topics we wanted to talk about today, just kind of give an overview for you guys, is David has a lot of experience with being in the community as far as running a Facebook group. So he sees a lot of patterns, and he's been with a lot of top guys. So why don't we just start there and just kind of tell us a little bit maybe about the patterns of maybe guys that are just getting into this, kind of the fuck-ups, the things they deal with, and kind of the beginnings of their journey that you see a lot of.
Well, I think a lot of guys, the one thing that, and I think a lot of guys are guilty of this, guys get into this type of stuff because they want to get laid. That's just, they want to get laid. They get entranced by reading the book, The Game. It's like a movie and it's like life imitating art. It's like they're like, oh yeah, I want to be like style and mystery, and I want to replicate that. So they have that in mind that they want to kind of embody something similar or create something similar with the intention of just getting laid. And then it's like there's like a level of frustration that happens, and it's like if they're frustrated enough, then it's like they turned on the community, like, oh fuck PUA, fuck that shit.
Right. They start.
So that's like one pattern. That's like one of the patterns that I see. So they're usually like there's that, and then there's like another pattern of guys where it's like they're trolls. Like they're just trying to troll like guys, and they want to spew like bullshit content. And then there's guys that are just genuinely wanting to get better, like genuinely that want to get good at game. And then there are like other guys that are just like, like fuck everybody else. I'm just going to be like the best that I can be and all. So yeah, I mean, you start to see those types of patterns.
So maybe for guys that actually want to get good, because I mean, this is who we reach out to and vibe with. What are some of the qualities of the guys that do want to get good or do get good? Like, what are the mentalities, the mindsets, and things that they do differently?
Well, I think the difference between somebody who wants to be good and somebody who just dabbles is the level of investment that they actually put into themselves. The level of investment meaning the amount of nights they go out and actually open sets, the amount of information they consume, and not just consume, but actually apply. And the one guy that I can say is a perfect example of that is Brian Casella. And he's one of the top realtors in California. And I've actually been staying with him in the last week or so, and to see his level of game combined not just with fake value, like he demonstrates real value, like his life. So, and he's invested, he's the one guy that I know that has invested the most in it, and his results speak for himself. And he has like all area. He has like his money right, he's got his relationships right, and he's got his health right. He's a beast. I just worked out with him at the gym, so
that's awesome.
He's somebody that I'm like really like modeling after. So
yeah.
Sure.
Another thing this kind of goes into it, we talked about happiness and, how a lot of guys get into the community and how they want to get laid. And, I was guilty of this myself. You think once you get laid, you've made it, but then what you really realize, it's kind of like a empty realization that you're like, well, now I'm laid. Now what? You have that now what feeling. And you're like, oh shit, like I've completed this. I remember when I like hooked up with like 2 girls in the same day, and I'm like, I'm a boss. And I'm like, wait, now what? I'm like, fuck, and you're stuck with that, oh, I'm still not happy. So tell me a little bit about that and what you see guys struggle with, and maybe what you found to resolve that issue.
Yeah, I think the issue with that is the guys get into game to get laid for something externally, but then even when you get results like that, there's like this feeling of lackness because it's like, okay, now what you were just saying. So there's this feeling, okay, I got the girl, or they'll get the girl and then they can't keep the girl because they don't have vision, or they don't have purpose, you know.
Right.
And ultimately that's what keeps the girl. So for me, that's like something that I've learned recently, that, you know, whichever relationships that I have in the future, they have to complement, because I have aspirations to do film and writing.
Yeah.
And to have a sustainable relationship, it's more than likely going to be with a girl that fits that mold, that can use her feminine energy and nourish my vision and lead that way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
That's very key.
so yeah, so happiness is that's one thing that I've really learned. If you guys are listening, I would highly recommend to read. It's called The Happiness Advantage by Sean Aker. He talks a lot about, you know, just how happiness. It's not about like finding something outside. Everything that you want to feel fulfilled is everything that you have inside. So you have to come to that realization of that, and then work with that going forward.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's a big thing too, and it's like it's just part of the journey. Honestly, like I don't fault guys for wanting to get into the community just to get laid. You know, a lot of people would shame them for that. Like, you're just so shallow. But I was like, dude, if you stick at it, that shallow little goal is going to turn into something deeper, because you are going to get a level of success and still be unhappy. And then you're going to be like, okay, now I got to go back and take care of my happiness. And kind of what we said before, once you establish that, then success with women's a lot easier, because like if you don't get the girl, if she doesn't give you the right emotions or right response that you were looking for, it's no big deal, because you have your happiness already handled, you know. And so at that point, the girls pick that up. And then since they don't have their happiness handled, they want to cling on to you. They're like, oh, this guy has this value. I don't know what it is, but there's something about him that I just like, you know? And maybe you've known this with girls you get in relationships with, but one of the biggest things is your lifestyle, how you take care of yourself, how you develop yourself. You can teach girls so much just by teaching girls how to live their lives. So many of these girls are lost, especially girls in the club. Oh, you cut out for a minute.
Hold on. I'm declining that call. Oh, there we go. Go. Got it.
So a lot of it is like you can add so much value, because all these girls are lost, and they're even like the guys who are trying to get laid. They're getting external validation through doing drugs, partying, getting laid, but then they're empty themselves, you know. So if they find like a badass dude who can pull them from the club and have great sex with them, but also teach them life skills like how to be internally happy, dude, they will like stick with you forever. They will be internally changed. You know, you will have changed their lives. It's pretty awesome.
No, it's good. I like your outlook on that, actually. Another thing that I think one trend that we're starting to see in the community is you're starting to see guys really own this, like not just like you know, like out in the field, but I mean like in their life, you know.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why I credit to getting a lot of attention is because on my own personal like Facebook page, I put it out there about pickup. I mean, nobody else really does that. So I generates a lot of attention. So for me, like, I own that. That's one thing that I own, and a lot of other guys start to do that too. So there was one time I saw a coach, like a famous PUA coach. I was working at this restaurant at the time, and I asked him, I was like, "Are you so and so?" And he was like, "Yeah," but he was with this girl, and it was almost like I triggered like oh my God, is he gonna like blow my cover that I'm a like pickup artist?
Yeah.
And versus now, it's like, yeah, I am a pickup artist. I use this to meet you, and then you walk them through it, and then you just own that shit. Right. You know, because I think a lot of, and that because to really like not be open about it, and to not, it's almost like in a sense being like female. It's almost like it's like bitch shit, I think.
Yeah,
you know?
It's secretive, and girls handle stuff indirectly to, you know, save their self-image. But as a guy, you have to be like, yeah, this is me, either take it or leave it. And it's hard to do at first, but once you start doing that more in your life, it makes things way easier. Because you're the first part, when you first get it, you're gonna get a lot of haters, you're gonna get a lot of people that may drop you. But then the next group of people that come in cycle in your life are gonna be like friends that will like die for you, that just like love this shit for you. Yeah.
dude, and that's one thing I would suggest, even with the group or even on anybody's on Facebook page. The reason why like I have a huge following is because when people give me opposition, I pick up on it right away and I just delete them.
Yeah.
And I keep talking and I keep talking, and then people at some level respect that because they're like, man, this guy doesn't give a fuck. He's defending his life.
Yeah.
You know, you got to cut the haters and just keep doing it. And next thing you know, like you just keep those that love you, and then that's where you have a high level of admiration that just comes with you. So it's just own your life, own your shit. But I forget sometimes that people have like the two primal fears is one, fear of death, and the second one is what people think about them. So people, like if some outsider is like, you know, talking shit about, oh yeah, you're using this shit like to get laid, you're so fucking miserable. It's like, well, motherfucker, you're talking on my lines. You know? It's like I don't have to put up with your shit.
Yeah.
Fuck, and you're out.
Yeah. So. Again, it's like another game. It's another game, and I kind of view like, you know, my passion is game and success with women, so I kind of view everything as like different games. So at first it's kind of scary because you're kind of pulling yourself out of someone else's belief system, right? The mass herd is like, this is weird and creepy. And it's kind of hard at first, but if you can kind of get through that awkward phase, then when people say that to you, like I'm sure you're kind of like at this point now where, you know, when people say that to you, you just kind of feel bad for them. You're like, oh, you find this weird, you don't work on yourself, you don't know like how to be charming and charismatic in the club. Like just shit like that, you almost feel bad for them, you know, and it's almost like your reality is stronger that you just look at them with like pity, you know.
Yes.
So it's like it switches, and so that stuff doesn't affect you as much as before. You're like, oh no, I'm being shamed, the tribe doesn't love me anymore, how will I survive? But once you leave the tribe, form your own tribe, and surround yourself with other like-minded guys, it's so much easier. You just got to get past that like little rough patch, you know, of being in the cold.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the thing. And I'm glad. I love that you said that. I love that you said that because the thing, and then as you have that, then this is when then you have a level of admiration where if somebody talks shit, you have like 7 or 8 other people are like they rip them to shreds.
Yeah, you don't even have to do anything, right?
Exactly, you don't have to do anything, and then that person who attacked you goes out and they cry about it. Oh, I got an ambush. It's like, motherfucker, you talk shit. Yeah, you're gonna get fucking attacked. Yeah. You know, so it's like it's really owning that shit, and you know, and accepting that, you know, as you move upward like in life, that's the, you know, that's the price you pay, you know. But you got to be specific with what you want. I know exactly what I want, and anybody else that like, you know, gives me opposition, it's like, get the fuck out, because I'm gonna be gone, you know. You're fucking nobody.
Yeah, and that's you know, that's a big thing I've been focusing more and teaching guys is like your purpose. Once you get your purpose figured out, it makes decisions, especially with relationships, a lot easier, because it kind of boils down to a few levels. It's like the people that don't like you, don't get along, so it's like, oh cool, have a good life, you know. Then you have the people that maybe you casually get along with, or maybe it's guys that are fun to party with, but they're not that deep. So you kind of keep them on the outer circle. It's like, oh, it's cool at certain times. And then you have like your inner circle of people, and these are like the women you date, like the like really close ones. These are like the guys that like, you know, you keep in your inner circle, you go to for advice. When you have troubles, you go to them. And it's almost like these layers of circles you learn to kind of build your social circle around. And all this is fueling you to your purpose, you know? Yeah.
That's good. I gotta say, man, I like that you said that, because a lot of guys don't really talk like that. So that goes to show, you've been how long you been in the community for?
Dude, it's been about almost 4 years, but I mean nonstop. Like once I figured this shit out, and it's been going and going and going, and like just learning it, just passionate, like on my purpose for sure. Yeah. That's
good. I could tell, bro. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I could tell you have a passion for this. That's good.
Yeah. So let's go to the third topic we want to talk about, which I'm actually excited to talk to you about because I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and this is kind of how I see game now, but it's more the spirituality side of it, you know? And this is kind of weird. I'm sure we're going to lose half the audience on this, but for that one guy who's like, yes, I love this. This is for you, dude. I really liked your, you put out a video on Facebook about the, what's that book called? The Kabbalion?
The Kabbalion, yeah.
Yeah, I got to check that out. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Kabbalion and maybe the connection between that and success with women? Okay,
so I can tie the Kabbalion to the law of attraction, just for a little bit. So the Kabbalion, it's these 7 principles of the universe of how everything functions. Like the first one being like everything's of the universe is the mind, or like the law of polarity, the law of rhythm. How as bad as it can get one way, to that degree, it will also be good. So, oh yeah, dude. So the Kabbalion, it pretty much talks about like the 7 Hermetic principles. Now, in terms of like game and stuff like that, I mean, yeah, like I have those things in mind where it's like, okay, yeah, obviously you're going to come across like, you know, oppositions of like the opposite polarity. But if there's one thing that I've really learned about like that type of stuff, the whole thing about the Kabbalion is that it's the Hermetic principles that all religions function under, you know? So like like pretty much it's like what all religions have in common. It's pretty much a lot of like the Hermetic principles, you know, like like ask and you shall receive, believe and it is done to you, like all that type of stuff. And that's the thing, like it like studying this type of stuff, you start to look at the Bible and other religious contexts in a much different perspective, not just something literally like according to this type of stuff, like the Bible talks about how you should, like, I guess like Job, he says something about wanting the last picture in his mind to be good. So like in essence, like that would manifest itself into reality because there's power in talking to yourself before you sleep. That's like that, yeah. So that's almost like law of attraction. Yeah. But one thing that I've also been very in tune of as well is just I would highly recommend meditating, because a lot of times like with the spirituality, something that I learned earlier this year is called chatter. So a lot of times like people have so much noise inside. Yeah. They have these desires, so it's like they go out and it's like there's like these like it's like conflict of interest. You know, it's like this chatter, all that bullshit, that conditioning that you had growing up. Yeah. Restricts you from going out and doing what you want. So what I've learned through meditation is just to quiet the noise. And the more and more I get into meditation, the more intuitive I am to energies. And not just like energies, but also like even kind of like having like insight of something that's just about to happen. Like while I was doing door-to-door selling one time, and this was very recent, this was like over the summer, and I was reading Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, and he talked about like you need to prepare for the worst. Like you need to he's like not just only have positive thinking, but also have like negative thinking, where you think of 20 different ways of how something can go wrong, and then you think of 20 ways how you would confront that and overcome them. Yeah. So to me, I was like, oh. So then this one time I was just walking down the street, and this guy was like, hey, I'm with like the neighborhood watch. But like I felt that like probably like 15 seconds before that. Like I saw this guy and I just knew it was like negative. Yeah. I knew that, okay, well, this guy's confronting me, so I got to like come at him, like I got to confront him. Because the moment you start to like, you know, cackle or be like, it's like these guys, they walk all over you. They
They like live for that. They feed for that. It's like blood in the water.
Yeah, exactly. They live for that. And if you don't, it's like your life is literally on the line if you don't come at them strong. Like again, it all comes down to owning it. It's like, yeah, I'm out here, I'm doing this. How can I help you? And it's almost, and then it's like, and they back off. Right. You know? Yeah. So I've just so through meditating and all that type of stuff, it's like I've become more intuitive to energies, and like, and you also really like start to really pay attention to the people around you. Like you really listen to what they say. You can feel what they're feeling. So then from that point on, you can take your communication and you can influence them because you're working with what you see versus what you just want.
It's unreal. This is why I like it so much, because when I go out and game, I'm more attracted to energies. You know, like I kind of just view it energetically when I'm talking to people. You could see a hot girl, but if she like reacts to me and has like a negative energy, I don't find her attractive. And I might look at her again and be like, oh yeah, she's a stunner, but like I have no desire to talk to her because of like the energy I feel off of her, you know? And like you said, it gives you that intuition. You know, like, and this is deep shit, like this is kind of weird shit, but if you can tap into this, it's very powerful, because, you know, the average guy when he's getting into this is like, well, what do I say? What's the perfect line? Like when you figure this stuff out, you kind of figure out, you know what to say. Like, you know, your intuition picks up on what to say that will click into her reality and communicate to her exactly what you want. And it's amazing. Like, you'll be able to say the right things, and it just hits them on a certain level where they're like, oh yeah, and you can just see, and you're like, whoa, it's like unreal, right?
100%. And that's the thing. It's like, you know, I think that's what makes a seducer a good one, very good, is his attention to detail and working with it. Like,
because the majority of people are stuck in their own head, right? They're like, oh, I said that, now what does she think of me? And they keep like pinging off or reflecting back. But when you just have your frame and you're like quiet, you've quieted that chatter. It's just like an outward of energy, dude. It's amazing.
Exactly, man. And you know, I'm actually re-listening to the Mystery Method again, and it's like being a beginner listening to it all over again. Like, I'm seeing the importance now of, like, you know, you approach the set, and the first thing you want to do is be non-threatening. You know, as if you that could be like, and that's the thing too. You pick up the energy too. It's like if you have like that intuitive, like,
right.
Then it's like, okay, then you really realize the value and the importance of the opener, because then you disarm yourself, you make yourself less threatening amongst the groups, and therefore the vibe's at ease, and then you can like work with it. So
so it's working with the energy that you have and whatnot. It's like it's very bizarre and it's weird to talk about, but if you can tap into it, it's like doing magic. It's insane, and the things you can do are just unreal, and the girls are just like astounded. They're like, wow, you know, it's unbelievable. I love it.
Oh, it's great shit, man. It's good shit.
Yeah. Okay, so anything, we can wrap it up here a bit, but is there any other last maybe pointers for guys that are getting into this, or that, you know, are going through the journey to help them on their journey with being successful with women?
Yeah, I would say first thing is fuck what others think. Fuck, that's like the number one king. Fuck what everybody else thinks. Fuck, just fuck them. And if they're gonna condemn you with studying something like this, they're more than likely gonna condemn you with anything else that you're doing. So fuck them. Second thing is find like-minded individuals. Right. Who will support you with that. And then 3, just like, you know, make sure you get specific and know your vision.
Right.
And if you're having trouble looking for guys, you know, look up May the Frame Be With You, or and then even with your own group, like, you know, Project Attraction. I'll throw in a plug in the group on mine about this podcast in your group too, if there's anybody in the Seattle area. So
yeah, absolutely, guys. Seriously, check out May the Frame Be With You on Facebook. It's an awesome group. David runs it. He's pretty much online, so you can contact him too if you have any questions or whatnot. But other than that, dude, David, thanks for being on the show. I appreciate it.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me, brother.
Peace out, man.
Peace out.